everybody, and I mean everybody, is against animal cruelty. Everybody is against animal abuse. But a lot of people obviously are not against animal use. And so we've got to be able to figure out a way of talking to people about that difference between use and abuse, or use and treatment. It's back to the old kind of welfare rights kind of thing in one way. But the modern vegan movement, they've adopted the language of welfarists. A lot of vegan advocacy sounds just the same as the RSPCA. Don't be cruel, have mercy, all these kind of things. And the street activism now, where you've got, okay, are you against animal cruelty? Everybody says yes. Are you against animal abuse? Everybody says yes. And then they say, well, what about the slaughterhouses? And that's where culturally you cause a heck of a lot of confusion. Now, it's at that point where the vegan education begins. As soon as you create that issue that, oh, I'm no longer understanding you anymore. We were completely on the same page when it came to animal abuse and animal cruelty and everything. But now you're talking about slaughterhouses. What's that got to do with it? So it takes a move and some work to move people to talk about the difference between abuse, cruelty, and use. What a lot of activists do at that point is they just then declare that that person is an abuser, which doesn't do anything for vegan education at all. So at the point where vegan education starts, a lot of people end it by actually insulting the people that they're talking to in the first place. So that to me doesn't make any sense. Well, the only way I can make sense of it is that they're not seeing it through a cultural lens, the depth of the feeling that people have, because these people do actually love other animals and they are against the abuse of them. But yes, they do eat them. And we've got to then say, well, okay, let's coax out the reasons for this. You can't do it by just suddenly calling them names. We've got to be more subtle in that sense, I feel. I'm trying to do some work on culture, trying to get a bit more cultural understanding in the movement, I think is probably important. As I said, we've got a lot of stuff about psychology, very little about culture and sociology and the kind of more structural ideas. And that would benefit our advocacy, because rather than just seeing people as cruel individuals, we see them as socialized speciesists. And that's what they are. They're not cruel individuals, at least not in their own mind, right? They are socialized within cultural speciesism. So we've got to be able to talk to them in a way that gets them to see the issues from a vegan point of view. And we also got to realize that the vegan point of view is a radical point of view which doesn't chime with the dominant culture. If we don't understand the dominant culture, it's almost like we can't really speak to them. We're kind of speaking a different language. Just be a bit more sophisticated, I think, in terms of interacting with speciesists, which is what we do. That's our job in a way. I'm not quite sure we see it that way. It's almost like, we've exposed hypocrisy. We've exposed the cruel person. This person's an abuser. That's not helpful from an educational point of view at all.